Hey, hey, hey. We are going live today. Welcome, people. We got a little calabash playing. Hope you can all see us. Oh, yes, I see we're popping up on Facebook. How's everyone doing? Got my favorite, well, one of my favorite bands, but it's my favorite group, Calabash, led by Anthony Pierre. Now, I don't own the rights to the music, but I do have permission to play the music. It's time for you to get comfy, to get your nice drink or your snacks. Get a notepad because you never know when those wisdom keys are going to be dropped. And be sure to share it with your friends, with your families. Get ready to engage with us. Ask some questions. You never know. So welcome to the Victory Speaks Inspired Conversations series where iron sharpens iron. That's you and me sharpening each other. I'm your host, Nicole Waldron, your voice of victory and your mental fitness coach. And I'm on a mission to inspire you to live a victorious lifestyle. This Inspired Conversation series is just one of the ways that I'll be doing this. You know, we have many conversations all the time in our lives. Some are good, some are bad, some are funny, some are just pointless. But really and truly, are they all pointless? Because you can always find something inspiring in a conversation. You can always learn a lesson. And so, you know what? I've been having great conversations with many people in my life. Some I know a long time, some I just met. And along the way, I know that I've learned and gleaned from them. So, sharing is caring, right? And this month, we're celebrating Black History Month. It's been 25 years, y'all. But as I say, it's not just about a month. This month, I call it the anniversary. It's anniversary time because we're going to be celebrating Black history all year through because it's our history. It's our time to educate and to advocate and kick it off to remind people who we are and what we're about. Now, okay, enough of me talking. This show, I am so excited. I am so excited. I gotta shut off the music because it's just gonna make me dance. I'm gonna forget what I'm supposed to do. Tonight, it's going to be different, y'all. I have a co-host tonight. Yes, I got activist, author, life coach. The Danny Stone is in the house, and he's going to be coming on soon with us here. And then we got everybody else. We got the team from the beloved. Danny, welcome. Welcome.
What's up, my sister? Thank you so much for having me here. I was on your show a few months ago. Loved it. I'm just appreciative of you allowing me to co-host this conversation with you.
Listen, there's nobody else I want to co-host this conversation with.
All
And
right.
so we're gonna introduce our guests. On tonight with us are some special guys. Listen, people pray for me. It's all this testosterone around me. I don't thank God we're doing this we're zooming in. So Nigel Birch Jr. is a writer, poet, host, and mental health advocate with a new vision for love. He is a melting pot of cultural experiences which can be heard and seen through his artistry. His depth and introspection are felt on every stage and page he touches. Ooh. His mission is to use various artistic mediums such as poetry, books, theater, film, and music to express, share, and empower others through creative expressions to find their way back to love. Guys, you got to show some love. You got to show some high fives. You got to show some hearts. You got to show some thumbs up for him. Our next guest is Rudy Ray, the prominent trumpeter. Let me tell you, Rudy Ray is based here in Toronto and an official trumpet player for the hip hop group, listen, the Wu-Tang Clan. Rudy is part of many music projects across genres, including. Now, Rudy, how do I say this name of this brass group here? Banger?
Yes, Bangers Brass.
Bangers Brass. Okay. Quincy Morales Jump Crew, with which he just closed on an event for the one and only, the President, Barack Obama. Rudy Ray studies neurology with an active pursuit committed to engaging psychotherapy in the Black community. Come on, Rudy. You're talking my language.
Wow.
Rudy explores his versatility and passion, uses his unique Afro rhythms to connect people, adding to this vibrant multicultural community we have in the city. Next month, Rudy appears. Well, it's actually not next month because I saw it. Did you know Rudy appeared in Madam C.J. Walker? Listen here. Like, I just can't. Danny, I can't anymore. I'm going to let you
Oh,
introduce the next guy. This
okay,
next guy here, I'm going to leave it to you.
okay. She's getting carried away. Let me introduce Mr. Mark Stoddart, the visual communicator. Mark combines his passion for music and sports with a consistent spirit of social activism and a lifelong commitment to educate, empower, and unite. Love that. Mark's community advocacy has also included volunteer speaking engagements and other visual contributions to local schools and organizations. And also, he's a part-time professor at Sheridan College. Love that. As a former professor, Mark has recently been featured on various media outlets for his art designs and for this beloved project. He's worked with the Toronto Raptors and NBA player Tracy McGrady, director Spike Lee. Mark has a collection of work and his clothing line, Live It, Wear It, which is worn by NFL player Colin Kaepernick. Wow, that's pretty dope. As well as Canadian hip hop artist Maestro Fresh West, Cardinal Fisher, and Cardinal Official. So, welcome to the show, my brothers.
Thank you for having
That's
me.
the people. That's the
Thank
people.
you.
The people are out there. They're giving you your applause. Are you hearing this
Oh,
love?
yeah.
Are you hearing
Yes,
this love?
yes,
This is
yes,
big
yes.
love, big love, big love. So, how are you fellas doing tonight? How are you doing, Mr. Studdard?
Bless. Thank you for having us. This is long overdue, but we're here. We're here to make some magic, right? Make some history since it is Black History Month.
Yeah, you guys are already making history. Mr. Rudy, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I can't complain at all. It's a blessing to be on your show. I'm actually quite excited to meet you and Coach Stone. I've heard and watched some of your interviews, and I'm a big fan of the show.
Thanks, brother.
Love it, and and I loving the smile, Rudy. Like you're just lighting up the whole room. I could turn off my lights and be good. If I turn off my lights, I light up the whole stage. And Mr. Nigel with the hat, I love that hat. I'm coming to the house. I'm telling you, I'm coming to get that hat.
Right,
How
you know,
you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Feeling blessed to be on the show with y'all today.
Okay.
Mm.
So Mr. Mark, tell us. You are have been doing this line of wear. And some people say, "Oh, it's just a t-shirt and stuff," but it's you don't just make t-shirts. Tell us about your company, Live It, Wear It. What's this all about, my friend?
We're just trying to create a lifestyle of empowerment. I feel that clothing is a perfect vehicle to actually connect people. So it's most, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's the less affordable part, but I think it's the most easiest thing to wear and to showcase who you are. And I've been doing designing for quite some time. I won't age myself, but it was always a labor of love to express myself through the most easiest fabric or canvas, which is a t-shirt. And through I don't know, the bumps and the valleys, I don't know how to put it, but you always figure your way of what's your purpose. And I always felt like the most way of communicating is through that fabric. And I'd say 10 years ago when I actually started Live It Wear It, it was just an idea to come back into doing t-shirts. And I just did a simple campaign. Didn't have a name, but just wanted to create shirts again. And I gave it to the community, and how the community embraced it was phenomenal. With this galvanized, I did the first photo shoot with the community of people, which was like say 30 people, and it grew into 80 people to 90 people. Every month, more people wanted to be a part of it. I documented them, tell their story through wearing the shirts. It was even up to this day, people still ask when can they be photographed. I'm like, I stopped doing it, but people still feel something like what we've done has impacted. Oh, sorry,
Hello?
Nicole. Yes,
Hello?
yes,
I
yes,
just
yes.
wonder how come I've never been approached to be photographed by the guy that I know for a long time who carries my father's name. I'm just saying. I'm just putting my hand up here. Okay, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead, Mark. I'm listening. I
Sorry,
know I
I
threw
forgot.
you off there. I totally threw you off your game there. Totally threw you off your game. See? Okay. I get this
I
one.
can just say that what's happening is that is how I've been doing it is just gonna grow, and I'm going to get more community people involved, and I'm trying to do better with that to document people's journeys through the clothing. So all I can do is the next photo shoot. I promise you, Nicole, I'm calling you up. You'd be the first person I would definitely document and put out there.
Okay.
Especially with the New Beloved campaign.
You heard it here, Coach Stone.
I did,
I heard it. I heard what he said. You're in. You're
I know,
in. See?
I know you don't believe it, but back when I was 18, I won't age myself. I used to be a model in Trinidad. It's what I came up here doing.
Okay.
So, you could style me. I'm looking for a Victory Speaks T-shirt, but your line of shirts have always been like giving messages and stuff. What's the advocacy piece of this line of shirts that you do, Mark? Your clothing wear.
The message you mean you're asking? Or?
Yeah, the messages behind your shirts have always been like you're advocating for something. It's always been a message.
Yeah, I have to. It's all about change. And I feel like as an artist, it's my duty to actually push the needle forward. I can't just do simple shirts just to be a part of the norm. I want to challenge people and create conversation. It's the best way. If people can't start it, allow the shirt to be that vehicle to at least have some dialogue. And since '89 to now, it's always been, I can't just do a basic shirt. I always have to challenge the community as a whole. And if you're not buying it now, you buy it later. Trust me. It always comes full circle, right? So
I love that.
It's not even me. I'm just a vessel. I just find things that's connected, and I just put it out there.
No, I love that. That's
I love
awesome.
that. Welcome everyone. I just want to, before I know Danny has a question coming out there, but I just want to welcome everyone who's tuning into the show. Make sure and show these brothers some love. Give them your hearts and your high fives, and send us your questions. We are talking to some of the dreamers, the believers, the change makers of the beloved tonight. Don't you love that name, the beloved? I'm gonna just feel love. I'm just feeling love all the way around. I'm just gonna shut up and let Danny take it over.
Yeah. No, I love it. No, I feel what you're saying. I feel what you're saying, because we need to come together as communities, and we're going to talk about this whole movement and why it's so important. But Nigel, my brother, I got a question, because you're a writer, a poet, a host, a health advocate. You're doing so much, man. And so, when you look at that and you look at your vision for love and all that kind of stuff, what does that look like, and why this focus for you?
Great question. Love begins and ends all. That's how I'll open by saying that. But I think I feel like that's something that is an area that sometimes seems taboo, especially for our community. So I see myself as a spiritual being, as a loving person, before I even look at my skin. But the important thing was to see how I could use it and reframe that for our community. So as much as love is something that is always explored through everybody in all facets of life, me being in this Black body, it's important for myself and whoever I work with to galvanize the community around this idea, because everything starts from that. For us to mobilize, move forward as a community starts with love, because family leads to community, or family or a couple leads to a community leads to ethical code leads to economic prominence, and forward. But it all starts with love. So from that being Black woman to Dear Mama, all my pieces are specifically done to intentionally bring some awareness to how we can love each other better, whether it's us as a community or to our Black women, to our brothers, and be okay with holding that, buying into it, and realizing it's the foundation of which we need to go forward from. So that's where love starts for me.
I love that. Nigel, too, like, what about self-love? Like, where does that, at loving yourself as a Black man or a Black woman, sometimes we give all of our love to other people and we don't love ourselves. We give it all away. So, how does that kind of come into play with you about this whole self-love and loving who you are and loving your skin and the body you're in?
That's a great question. Atonement. So people ask me, how do you learn? Someone asked me the other day, how can you learn to love with yourself more? And I said, seek atonement with God. And what that means to me is the closer that you are with, once you feel like you don't lack and you're abundant of, then you can live and pour into people because you have an overflow. And you can only have an overflow when you believe that you are not in lack. And that can only come from investing yourself in something greater than yourself and seeing how that higher being is now delivering what you need to you, whether it's peace, love, joy, in abundance. And now you're equipped to give your brothers, your sisters, what you feel like you have more than enough of.
Yeah.
So of course, everything begins and starts with God and yourself. And then from there, you can pour into others. So for sure, I'm happy you brought that up, because self-love, it all begins with you, for sure.
No, that's great. Thank you for answering that, brother. I appreciate that.
I'm,
Okay.
I'm like, show's over. See,
No, it ain't over. We just getting started, because I know Rudy's gonna come with something. So
because this love piece, like this love piece, people are engaging. People are showing you the love. I'm seeing the hearts going up. I'm seeing the comments. You know, it's really good. Like this love piece, you know, to be able to live with agape love, to walk in agape love that is unconditional. So many, you know, everybody likes to say I love you, but love is the most misused and misunderstood word in the world. You know, and you know, as we stick on that word love for a minute, and I have a question for Ray, but I'd love to hear your thoughts, Mark, on love. We're not at the beloved yet, but just love. Let's just stick with love for a minute. What does that
The
mean?
word love?
The love, yeah. Especially
love
as a man, and when you talk about men showing love to each other, I know that there's something special there.
I feel that the word itself has been loosely used too much, and it doesn't have the potency as it should. So I have to admit, I'll be transparent. It was not a word that I would normally put out there to anybody. And I have to admit, even mentoring Randall put me in more of a better vulnerable space to actually appreciate when he says to me, and dearly said, Mark, I love you, kind of thing. And saying that kind of stuff to me, man, I brushed it off. But then I really took that on, and I can say that back then with the kinds of feeling what that is, right? Because I never done that to too many people. But when you really care for somebody, it's like it's unconditional. You just speak how you feel. And I have to admit that Randall's probably the first person who actually allowed me to be more comfortable in my own skin. My mature way of that, not doing it, but now no feeling to say that word with the conviction of saying it and knowing that I mean it. So shout out to Randall, and way up in Ghana in Africa right now, but who knows if he's listening.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if he's not listening, we're gonna send this to him so he can make sure.
Oh yeah, because now it's recorded live, right? I forgot about that.
So we're gonna be able to send it out there. And you know what, Mark, I appreciate your vulnerability and your truth. And you know, Coach Stone and I have this friend called Mario Armstrong, and he says vulnerability is the new currency, and I love it because it's true. When we can start doing this, and I think Ray, you can really pipe on this because you're studying neurology, and I don't know if you know, mental health is one of my passions, and so like when we think of the neural pathways and we think of love, you know, you can really speak to that from what that does to the neural pathways. Let's hear you, my brother Ray, Rudy.
It's definitely a key aspect of everything, because you release oxytocin when you hug somebody. People tell you to hug at least, you know, have at least 5 hugs, you know, each day, which is the recommended amount. It tells you something about the little things and how it allows us to be human and ensure survival. Love is about acceptance. Love is about vulnerability. And there's so much strength in loving. But it's not exactly taught in our communities. We are taught to fear, you know, which also has its place in the natural world. But I love that we are learning to rephrase our understanding of humanity and connectedness, and we are choosing the words that can actually amplify unity among us, which is neat. I think when Mark approached me with beloved as the concept, I was like, wow, this is very interesting. The first thing I thought about was Prince's "Dearly Beloved," and also the number of pastors who have said "Dearly Beloved" to
Yeah,
start, like,
yeah.
a sermon in time. And it's in the little things that you start to notice how much you care and how much you belong to something. Um,
I love that
that,
because for me, beloved, like if you know you're special to me when you hear beloved, that
Mm.
is that is such a part of my narration when I call you beloved, and people may just think of it as this romantic thing, but when you call someone beloved, it is way past
yes.
that romantic love. It is that love that is transcends everything. And when you speak of love, Rudy, and you think of the mental wellness of people,
Hmm.
do you think if we changed the way that we dealt with love, it would change the mental wellness and fitness of individuals?
Certainly.
Shit.
I think it's all in the language and us choosing, you know, to say "I love you" instead of having to say "I don't hate you."
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
literally
yeah, yeah.
in the way we
Yeah.
phrase things that allows us to be closer, or the distance. It's all in how we phrase language.
For
Well,
sure.
Um,
but you know what's interesting about that? I think with love and being loved, I think a lot of us even have challenges just accepting a compliment. So
hmm
accepting love is so astronomical. Like, when you give someone a compliment, I noticed I used to do this a lot. Someone would give me a compliment and I would toss it back and I'd be just downplay it. And it's
Yeah.
almost a disrespect to the person who's giving you the compliment. They're trying to give you a gift to say that
hmm
whatever it was, you've impacted me so much so that I need to let you know. And I think a lot of us just dash that away. And so when you add
Yeah.
love on top of that, we can't. A lot of us have a difficulty accepting a compliment. What are you talking about when it comes to love? That's
I'm
so
not.
much more challenging. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I see you guys
Yeah.
nodding.
Uh,
Go ahead, Mark.
I'm a victim of that because I honestly, it's hard for me to take compliments. I ain't gonna lie. I'm the person who loves to be in the shadows of this curate. So when people
Mm,
acknowledge me and show me that, Mark, I love what you're doing, it's the hardest thing. It's one of the hardest things is
mm,
to get back to the energy back to say I say thank you, but it's not. It's just hard for me to actually share that again. And I'll give you another example of that. Was when I did Nuit Blanche in Scarborough and I did the art installation and
Mhm.
just the reaction of people smelling the roses now, what I'm hearing, and people just coming at me. There's a lot of people. I thought I was dead because I thought this anytime you get this, it's only at funerals that people acknowledge you. There was this overwhelming of overpour of people coming at me, and it was uncomfortable. It was the weirdest feeling to
mm,
have. And so I'm just
mm.
getting used to the skin that I'm in right now to understand that as much as you get, you share, you get, it's been given to you, you have to share it back out and acknowledge the people
Yeah.
that are here and show them that they're loved in many ways.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so Rudy touched on that. I'm like totally support that. Like words can bring you up, or also they can bring you down. So taking
Right.
affirmation of words that can empower you is the key right
Right.
now, and especially for the youth of today, you have to give them those kind of powers, of just planting those seeds of empowerment. Of you're great, you're loved, you're beloved.
Right.
All those
Mhm.
things
Of
that they
course.
can see themselves in the mirror, right? It's so
Of course.
important.
But Mark, I
Yeah.
think you made a great point because if we can't accept it as mentors and role models, how do we expect other people to be able to give and accept love? And so we have to kind of, like you said, it's the same. We all have to kind of get comfortable with that because we're out here talking to these young men and young boys, and we're trying to say, look, I'm showing you that there's something special about you, yet we're awkward and uncomfortable ourselves, right? So it's something that I know that I continue to work on myself. So
Yeah,
I
man.
can feel that. And I think Nigel touched on it. You have to believe in something greater than yourself, right? You have to believe in something greater than yourself to know that you're more than just this small little dot on a map. You're bigger than that, right?
Yeah.
And you have to own it and accept it. So when someone says, "Man, you really impacted me," or "What you did, Rudy," or Nigel, or Mark, this thing was just so amazing. Even though it's a little bit awkward, we got to just take it because it means so much to that individual, so much so that they're actually saying something to you, right?
And I think that's what a
Yeah,
miracle,
yeah.
and that's what a miracle truly is, right? Love is an actual miracle, and we all have the ability to create miracles every single day. And I think that's the greatest agape love, which was mentioned earlier, is the greatest miracle you can give to the world. I just wanted to chime in on something that was said earlier because Rudy, you gave me an aha, because I realized, going back to language, but also that we speak a language of survival, and survival is fair, and fear and love cannot coexist in the same breath. So part of the beloved movement is to start making love the language versus making survival the language, because too often you see the media messages in conversations, we're expecting more pessimism from a response from our own people and from other people on a day-to-day. So how do we now replace that with language that speaks to upliftment, to something bigger than how we see ourselves? So love is the gateway to changing the conversation and how we look at ourselves through the subtleness of a hug, of a, like you said, showing vulnerability, affirming one another. So there's so much, like we say the word love, but it's so multidimensional, multifaceted, and it definitely is the opening into everything that we want to do socially, politically. No matter how you look at it, it starts with that vehicle. So yeah, thank you for that, Rudy.
Thank you. And if I should add that, like what made it very interesting to me, the word beloved, was also, it was inspired by the novel written by Toni Morrison, after the same name, Beloved. And if you've read the book, you know that it represents this inescapable, like, and horrible past of slavery that still haunts us presently. We cannot forget our history.
That's right.
But we can learn the importance of using, language as a tool, because it's one thing to think of yourself as a slave, and it's another to understand that you were enslaved.
Yes. Okay. Now, come on now, Rudy.
Right. and so this is one of the things that I picked up with this initiative with Beloved that has been just empowering.
Man, that's so good. And so I love that. So Mark, with Beloved, how did it come about for you? And first of all, even we're all talking about it, but tell people what it is, right? Because there's some people who might be watching who might be like, they saw the videos, but they might not, like, so break it down what it is and kind of how it came to be.
Well, first off, let's break down the website. If people need to get more information about it, it's beloved68.com.
We got that. Don't worry. We got you.
Okay. I just want to say it out there loud.
We got you.
What's going on? Look, she got the
I got you. Okay.
No, honestly, it was like I told you before. I'm just a vessel, and the timing of information that comes to me. And I was on the computer, and I was listening to. No, I was on IG, and I was listening to the rapper Busta Rhymes, and I put the link on my website. And just the manner of how he spoke to his brother, and these are dudes just speaking candidly about how they feel, and where Busta spoke to him and held onto his hand and said, "Beloved, you are great, you are loved." Just the matter how he spoke, it gave me goosebumps, and I'm like, "Yo, this is." It's just the aha moment for me. So I have to figure something out. I have to figure out how can I extend that energy and put it out there as a designer. And I created something that same night. I put that logo together. I took the Yankton symbol. I took the symbol that I thought with togetherness, and I just thought, let me fuse that together with the writing. And then I said, okay, this is cool. What else can I do to expand upon? Because just creating a design is one thing, but adding some layers of context to it, it just reaches more of a bigger audience. And I spoke to Nigel. We had a campaign before, we just didn't really work out. And I thought this would be the moment for us to really collaborate. And I just said, Nigel, I have this idea. And I don't know what came out of this dude's wordsmith play. He just took that within, I'll say, not even a week. I don't know. I'll give it a week. I'll say 2 weeks. But within the week, he gave me the substance. I said, man, we have something here. And I thought to myself, the gift that I feel that I have is community. I just have the ability just to connect people at the right time. And I just made the calls. Called Rudy, called Thompson. And then we connected the Merciless, the producer. And everyone out of the love, the brothers, we just sat down. We said, we broke bread. And we said, listen, I have an idea. I want to extend it to you guys. What can we do to make this thing happen? And we just came up with this movement. I know I'm missing out. These guys will add some layers to it. But it's just to know that when you ask for something from our community and they step forward and say, "Yeah, Mark, I salute you, bro. What can I do to step into this?" It's greatness that what we're doing, and I'm hoping this momentum, this catches on, it becomes more contagious, and I'm seeing it happen now.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah,
what
yeah,
is your goal? Like, I love that, man. It's, I think sometimes we just overthink something, right?
Mhm.
If
Mm-hmm.
right.
if something makes you feel, a lot of us will acknowledge the feeling in the moment, and then we'll
Yeah.
just let it go. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
that was a great
Yeah,
speech, or
yeah,
man,
Yeah.
I loved hearing Rudy play, or
yeah.
man, Mark's installation was dope, or Nigel, man, that poem really hit me. Okay,
Mm.
I'm gone.
Mm.
But all of you just captured that and said, no, I'm gonna do more with this. And
What's that?
so what was it like? What was it that just made you feel compelled to just not let the moment go and sort of make this movement, as you call it?
Well, I can give an example. Again, 10 years ago when I did Live It Where, and I was able to galvanize the community and document their stories off of my site, and I realized the effect I had with that, I thought if I can revisit that one more time and take that same kind of energy applied to this, but with some more stronger context, I think
Mm,
I have something. And the whole thing is documenting our stories. We
yeah.
keep relying on the oppressor to tell our stories. We need to
Mm.
change that narrative and allow us to speak our stories and tell the stories of particular people are not talked about. Like
Yeah.
Access Sadu, you know what I mean? There's so many layers of people I have relationships with that want to tell their stories on this platform and give some other stronger content, which the news won't document. We keep relying on this situation of the society to tell our stories. I'm done with that. We have
Mhm.
the power to do the same thing, and I want that to happen through this movement for sure.
Nice.
Mark, something that occurred to me as you're talking. Do you recognize, my brother, my friend, that you live it and you wear it? You are the walking definition of love,
Yes, Nicole.
right, Rudy? You,
Yes.
are- I'm sitting here and I'm just so glad Danny's co-hosting with me because I might go into the Oprah ugly cry soon because what is happening here is love.
Mm.
I didn't just want to do. I'm gonna cry. I didn't just want to do just another Black History Month shows this month,
Mm.
and we have been bleeding while we've been leading and not healing.
Mhm.
Mm.
Wow.
And to listen to four men here speak on love and embrace who they are and walk the talk and just be so authentic. And Mark, because you're a giver, and givers a natural propensity is not to be able to receive. And it's our strength and our weakness.
Yeah.
Mm.
But beloved,
Mm.
let me tell you here tonight, you walk in love, and this is why the community comes together when you call. Whether we are in the shirt or out of the shirt, when Mark Stoddart calls, the community answers. And I
True.
need you to, I need you to embrace
Say
that
that. Don't
tonight. And
Mm.
I say it with your brothers
It's true.
Mm.
Mark is
because
so
God
true.
needs you to understand that many people say, I love you,
Mm.
and they just say it as words. But
Mm.
beloved,
Mm.
you are love walking. And I am so grateful for your obedience because obedience is better than sacrifice. And you have sacrificed a lot over the years. And you walk as this strong Black man, and you are expected to be strong as a Black man. But you
Mm.
have carried a weight,
Mhm.
and that weight comes true in the essence of what you produce and live it and wear it. And so I pray and hope that even right now in this moment, as you have been doing all these interviews and stuff on the beloved, that you recognize that you are the beloved of the
Mm,
beloved.
yes.
Mm.
Come on now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I
And
think we want this to start. man.
No, it's okay. It's okay to let it breathe because Nicole is so right. As men, we have to receive. And one thing Mark and I had this conversation. I think we got on the phone for I don't know, an hour and a half or 2 hours or something, and we just talked about all of this. We were talking about how we have to start to change our own narrative.
Yeah.
And how we can't allow other people to tell our stories. And oftentimes it's like people say, we all know this, but it's like, well, what can I do? I don't have a TV network. I don't have a newspaper. I don't have but you have a social media.
Yep.
You have family and friends that you talk to, right? You know people. And so I want people who are watching to understand is that you don't have to be one of these brothers here who have these amazing gifts and talents to be out in front of people or to design clothes or to be on a stage speaking or playing a trumpet. Use what you have. Use what you have. And if we all use what we have and we all do our part to show ourselves in different lights, to not always post ratchet videos, to post things like The Beloved, which we're going to show you in a minute, to post this amazing poet that Nigel just dropped, to post, something from Rudy. Why can't we do more of that? If every single person just does a little bit, it ends up being a lot. And so I'm so happy that my sister Nicole took that time to really let you know, Mark, because it's important that you know. It's important that you know, Nigel. It's important that you know, Rudy, that this is more than just, it's probably bigger than all of you guys know, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it is.
Many hands make the work light.
That's right.
Yep, you got it. I'm telling you, and you guys have touched on so many parts, and I'm trying to just like, when you said, Rudy, about being slaves to being enslaved. Last night, Dr. Vibe did an interview, and if nobody's seen it, with Leonard Paris, I think it was, out of Nova Scotia. That was an interview. So I encourage you, especially as what you're doing and in your mindset and what you're thinking, to take a moment and look at it. So for everybody live and on the replay, yes, you may see some of us, shedding a little tears here because we're talking about love, and we're not even just talking about love. Just generally, we are really getting down with the creators of The Beloved, and if you haven't seen it, you're about to see it now. Here we go.
Dearly beloved, we've been gathered here today to get through this thing called life, and we won't view our melanin through the hate they give, hide our skin under rhetoric used to dilute the consciousness to forget who we are. We are the beloved ones, charcoal brown molded under the golden sun. Sons of kings, queens of a lineage we refuse to leave behind. We are beloved, unwilling to let love die. Unwilling to let love die, but willing to let love live. Pain won't shortchange our heritage. Links to unbroken bonds stretch beyond these scars. We've come too far to close off the middle passage to our inner God. We are beloved ones. This pen writes with the spirit of Langston Hughes and Toni Morrison. We rebuke the notion that Nubians can't love flawed. We're fractured but hopeful, knowing skin and bones can forge new bonds. Healing can shed the hurt but pack on thicker layers of love. Slavery has made us run in the opposition of agape's direction. Survival has made us numb to its texture. Spirit is the way back to our pursuit of happiness. Our queens are waiting for a syringe filled with affirmations to be injected. Indiscretions of love have gone on for far too long. Can you imagine what would have happened if we were unshackled from Jim Crow with wings to soar back home? Along shorelines that house ships that brought us some kingdoms now forgotten. Never forget who you are. We are loving, soft, warm, willing to push past the roughage that says we're too strong. Let's allow our ancestors to feed us history, digest what it feels like to be held with tomorrow morning, to kiss without grievances on lips. Refuse to lift tongues on caskets that speak death into our optimism. Set your sights on more than what you bargained for we are wholesale, shipping for understanding, far beyond the eastern seaboard. Steering our destiny to our lovers' arms, we are beloved ones. Larger than limitations, louder than Yesia's whispers, Let's spray paint new scriptures over an old constitution and rewrite the dead weight of a narrative we've been carrying for far too long. Let love become the new pyramid scheme, tomb raiding our pain, reclaiming our promised land and merging light with love. We are the beloved ones. Charcoal brown molded under the golden sun. Dearly beloved, we've been gathered here today to get through this thing called life.
I know you have to kind of like pause as you see it. You kind of have to like pause. Let's see if I can work my magic here and get us all back on screen. There we go.
Nice.
And gentlemen, I'm just like in awe of every time I watch that video. And I got some questions for each of you right now. What did it feel like to be even a part of that? I'll start with you, Danny. To be a part of that, Danny, with your wife, like to be in that video and then watch it. Not even because being called to be in something, but when you see the finished product, that's something else. What was that? What did that mean to you after you saw this?
You started with me. I'm just like I'm just in it for a second.
I'm letting them breathe. I'm giving them a moment to breathe.
I'll say this. Like I'm somebody who I'm about connections. I like to connect with people who are genuine, people who give more than they take. And I don't say yes to everything, I just don't, I'm not, I don't think that I'm better than other people, but if I see that you're somebody who doesn't give more than you take, you're not about building up people or building up community, I just don't even want to be a part of it. And so, I've gotten to know Mark over the last year or so, and him and I have had some really great conversations about different things. And I see what he's about, man. I see his heart. I see, he's about the upliftment of our people. And when he asked me, I was really honored that he asked me to be a part of the project and the movement. And me and my wife were just happy to be a part of it, man. And so when we saw it, we were like, wow, this came out really amazing, right? We saw it, and with the poetry and the music and everything together and the visuals, it's like, this is what we need to see more of. We need to see more Black families and brothers and sisters enjoying themselves and letting the world know that, we don't come from quote unquote broken homes, and we're not all, and so when I saw it, I was like, wow, I was just honored to be and blessed to be a part of it. So, thank you again, brothers, for allowing me and my wife to be a part of this amazing movement.
Yeah, because when I see it, I see love. And so, Rudy, you put the music behind the words, behind the project. What was that like for you? Like, how did you? The melody is just so sweet. It's almost like I don't know how to put it. I'm going a little Trini for you here. It's almost like you're eating a sweet Julie mango, and it's savoring the taste,
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah. Wait, let me hold back a bit. This mango so sweet, I can't eat it all at once. Like, what was this like for you listening to the words of Nigel? Like, I'm guessing, Nigel, you wrote the poem and then you said it, and then Rudy, you put I don't know. Tell me what happened. How did it happen?
It was back and forth in that manner, but at the back of my mind, I had Hemingway's quote in mind. Like, one day I would find the right words, and they will be simple. So I was trying to get the feeling of something simple but long lasting, in a sense. Something that felt like, immediately you heard it, it felt timeless, and it was dropping you into a space in your mind that was reflective. And you can tell from all the video, like the video reel and how the filmmaking came together, that it really held that, at least to the musical scoring perspective. And it was all around Nigel's words, you know, and you could tell how powerful that was.
I'm telling you, it's. I'm like, can you write me a song, please? Like, I don't know if I'm not gonna ask the personal questions because I know some people loving on you right now. Just say it with that trumpet playing.
Oh,
Nigel, moving on to Nigel, moving on to Nigel in the words. I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it 100.
Sure.
So these words, like, okay, take me through this. Like, how do you write this? My God, beloved.
Yeah, it's what Mark had mentioned earlier. We talk about the vessel component. And often I tell, and you know, it's definitely not cliche. A lot of times when I write, it doesn't come from me. I've seen my pen move faster than I can think, and then going back and looking at, did I do that? So I know that the ancestors, as Mark has said before, or some being is speaking through me. So I would say I'm a big meditator. So what I do, and I pray a lot. So I'm looking for a specific emotion to connect to, or a couple. And in the piece, I wanted a couple things to resonate. That being, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I love hard, I love black. So that's how I set the terms, and then the higher does the work. So that's where that goes. But I do want to say that Brother Mark, which I always bother him about, he's an historian. So, you know, whether it comes to hip hop or R&B, or a vision, he's very clear on how he wants to deliver something, whether it's art or whatever he's doing. So there was a couple conceptual things that we had going in. Like, he heard the trumpet before there was a trumpet. He knew he wanted Dearly Beloved before I even put Beloved on the page. He was like, Nigel, I want to hear this. I want it. So it's like, okay, big bro, I got you. Like, just tell me what you need around, and I'll do the rest. So it kind of worked that way. He kind of orchestrates stuff that way. He's like Diddy.
Yeah. He's like Nick Fury of the Avengers.
Right. So we kind of the blueprint to go with. But I know, right? Take that. So after that, it was just he trusted in my ability, which I respect him for. He allows me to be a creative. And then I said, I got you. Just give me a couple of days. And then me and Rudy went back, and obviously you can hear there's so much history in the trumpet when Rudy plays. You hear Renaissance. You hear, I can see slave ships gone. I see us going back to the motherland. Rudy plays the trumpet. You're like, I gotta write something that like, you was not about to outshine me, Rudy. This is not.
I got a little friendly competition going on. All right.
Black excellence.
Yeah, it was a beautiful marriage between the three of us and Thompson, which is not here today. Yeah, so I mean, and Merciless. So we all had. Mark came with the foundation, and we were like, we added a little sprinkle here and there, and then we were touched, we were moved. I remember the first time we listened to it, and we had to take. I mean, remember that, Mark? We were just like, yo, whoa, like we're like, whoa, we were moved. And I actually performed the other day with these guys, and I got teary-eyed because I was like performing, and I didn't expect I was really listening to what I was saying, and I could actually feel like just the connection to the community and love. And you know, I saw Mark teary-eyed earlier, and one thing about it is he puts so much into the community. He gives so much of his resources. He's always like, I can see when he's tired. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can, you know, and it's like when you give that much, I don't think people understand the sacrifice over the years he's made to become what he's done. And he's not even trying to do it for any type of clout, but it's like, I'm so happy we're giving him his flowers because, man, he put so much into this work, you know, and think about this. We're just now getting to, a lot of us, to where he's been for the last, I'm not going to give away his age, for the last so many years.
Give it away, man. Give it away.
But, so it's
I got you. He can't hurt you. I got you.
Well, so much love towards him, and I'm just happy to be a part of this movement, to be his brother in arms as well with Rudy and Thompson and Merciless. So It's been a great journey so far.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is one of these things that you want everybody to hear it.
Yeah.
You want them to hear it no matter what part in the world that they are. And maybe we need to, Mark, if you haven't thought about it, let's have a listening party. Let's do another night of the beloved, and let's have a listening party. Let's get creative. Let's talk to. We need to get this out there,
For sure.
and we need to start using our networks and say, did you listen to this? Have you heard this? Do you want to heal your community? This could actually be a piece that is played as people do, you know, all this work with and all the various organizations that we're all doing, and we're all being called. Can you come say this? Can you come? Maybe we should be opening up with this. This is who we are.
Yeah.
I know organizations right now that I want to take this to, like, you know, I want to take this to CAMH. You know, I wish you know what, if I should have played this at my meeting today at CAMH. I'm just saying, you know, I want to take this to co-op housing and play this at our AGM. I want to take this to operators in the insurance, because they have a great thing for mental wellness, because this is a piece on mental health.
Yes.
Sure. Absolutely.
This piece on love, if we get this piece right, there is such healing in this piece. And so, Mark, when I look at the opening frame, you know, I was gone with the opening frame when I see our beloved Jordan, and I was like, really, Mark, really?
Yeah.
And I was like, but you know, and for those who don't know, Jordan was my my godson, you know, and so when I see that opening scene, just filled with somebody who was so filled with love, and you were such an intricate part of his life, and then I look at the people that you chose to be in the video, like, what was it? What was in your mind as you chose the different people? Because I know it wasn't about who's popular. That's not your style. There was a reason behind why you chose the people you chose. And I ask you this question because for those who want to be, I'm going to keep it 100. There's some, like, why didn't Mark choose me? But like, Mark know me long time. Like, Mark could have chosen me. Look at me. I know Mark, right? But it's bigger than that.
Yeah.
What was the essence behind some of the people? Because I knew you wanted to put a whole lot more people in there, but you couldn't.
I couldn't, but I honestly have to say, Mother Nature put those elements in COVID, made those parameters that you couldn't bring the community as a whole. I would love to bring everybody in that space to make something happen, but we're limited. So honestly, it was just a level of just being spontaneous, and just those check off list of people who will, if I make that call, automatic, those people were in. And the day of the shoot, we did a 2-day shoot. Wasn't that a whole lot of shooting we did? It was 2 days. Those 2 days were cold as hell. But it was a magical moment. And the beginning cut. Oh, we got to give a shout to Om Asante. He's the person who originally put this together for us. And I've been on his case, but I have to give his roses. Like, he put the time and effort. He actually now sees potential when he creates. He puts his foot forward. He can do something, and not just in the visual component. He's a great poet as well. He's so talented, he doesn't even know his own gifts sometimes. But him putting that together and the elements of like the puzzle piecing was great for me. It was easy work for me because I just knew the people who I wanted. Upon had to shoot it. So the 5 Finger One Fist, losing Jordan definitely put me in a place. Like, I think for myself, just hearing all this, I haven't really healed of grief, of losing so much people with family, close friends. I'm still processing this. I still don't know what is the solution of healing. And so for me, creating is my part of healing for myself. And so having Jordan part of this video and giving homage to him was needed. But even those little gems behind him, was with Simba, King Rain was behind the mirror behind him. A lot of people, when people see this, they see the more of the connection on the layers of storytelling. And then tying in Rain's kids, we drove all the way up to Guelph to shoot his kids out there in the snow with his moms. So the community as a whole, we're so separate, but this video brings us together because there's pieces that we all can connect to. So when people say, "Oh, why didn't you shoot me?" The part is you are part of this. Everybody's a part of this. If you look at that,
You see
all of
yourself in it. I saw
you have
myself
to.
in it. Yeah. Yeah.
You have to. You throw an Ita with Magua, like that is a staple point, a pillar of our community that's not
Yes.
talked about, and her
Yes.
contribution. I needed
Yes.
to tie them in, so each person can see themselves with each person, with everybody who's connected to that. My goddaughter was a part of this whole thing, so I just close friends with their kids. I had to put them in because it's not just about us; it's about planting the seeds for the next generation, right? Allow that tree to grow. You know what I mean? So they can live under our shade of what we put out. So, as me with music, I want something to be timeless. This will be a timeless piece. This will be our anthem.
Yeah.
This will be our Black History Month. Not even Black History Month. Every day this should be our anthem that we play for our straight goods. That's the way I look at this. So, I'm just overwhelmed. Look how you did this. I honestly didn't know what to expect. I said I was going to come here to do my talk and get through this. Having these brothers, I love you guys, man. You guys coming and being part of this. I'm so thankful for this. And then I thought, okay, I'll just do my part, say what I say. But you touched me in a way that I never thought I'd be touched, in the way of really processing that I'm just here, just doing God's work. You know what I mean? And I'm and I'm just glad that the community acknowledges that. I'm getting calls from people who I would never thought would call me and tell me, Mark. It's just acknowledging it. And I'm like, I'm thankful, but at the same time, I ask myself, I have to do more.
That's how I feel too.
Well, you know what, Mark? You've been touched by the victory effect. This is the victory effect, and I see Nigel, like your hand is like, it's almost like you're ruminating, like you have something to say there, Nigel. Am I?
You know what, Mark will tell you. I'm usually if this thing is off, I'll be taking notes.
You can take notes.
No, this is Mark. This is actually how I look when I'm listening to you.
Listen, I got a whole bunch of paper here. I'm taking notes. You may not see, but I slip it. This is me in an interview. I have the note. It's not a notepad. I have these little sheets of paper. Everybody's getting my sheet, and I take notes as I'm interviewing.
Wow.
You guys are dropping gems.
I make notes when I interview. I make notes too.
Yeah, like that's. I'm always taking notes. So that I didn't have
taking notes. You can't.
I want you guys to know this too. Like, I kind of felt what you were saying, Nigel, because I feel like, sometimes the spirit or whatever just works through you. I spoke to some incarcerated men last week virtually, and tomorrow I'm going to be speaking to some.
Beautiful.
And so it was a Black history presentation. And so I talked about some prominent Canadian Black history figures. And then the other half, I was just sort of telling a little bit about my own journey growing up in low-income housing in Nova Scotia and so on. And I don't even understand what happened. I just started getting emotional. I started connecting with the brothers.
Right.
They were like, man, I was like, I could be where you were at. Like I was a half a second away from being where you are. And they could feel that I was feeling them and treating them like men. And it was almost like I didn't say I love you, but it was like, man, I said, I feel so much for you guys, man. I just want you to understand that you're not your failures or your mistakes. You have an opportunity to come out of here and be somebody that you've never been. And the brother, I'm telling you, like there were some brothers in there that were like, they were getting shifty. They were like, like these guys. Right? And one brother's like, man, you know what? He's like, man, I'm feeling what you're saying, man. I feel you. I said, look, you have an opportunity to be somebody different when you come out of here. What is your choice? Are you choosing to go back to how you got here or somebody? And I could see it, right? And so afterwards, one of the correctional guard who was my contact, she said, yeah, a couple of them filled out forms. Like they actually filled them out. And I posted one of them on my Instagram. And he was just like, man, in 30 minutes, you gave me facts about myself that I never knew. And this goes to what you were saying, Rudy. I said, it's impossible for your history to start as you being a slave. You can't start hating yourself. It's impossible, right? You have been enslaved. That meant you were free at some point in time. And you can see and so the brother caught that, and then he caught me sharing my story. And I'm saying all that just to say, like, man, like we have connections with each other, but most of the time we don't express that because especially as Black men, it's like, I can't really say this to you. I can't say that I'm feeling you. I can't say that I love you. I can't say that, man, my heart is with you right now. And so as you guys are saying this, I'm like, tomorrow I'm speaking to another group. I'm going to drop the video. I'm definitely going to watch this. I don't care what they say. They're going to see Beloved. And then I'm speaking to a group of Black students at Nova Scotia Community College, about 800 students on Friday. They're going to see this as well.
Amazing.
and so I just think exactly what it is. It's an anthem. It's an awakening that you're more than what you see on TV, these negative images.
Oh, absolutely.
You're more than what your school tends to tell you about your history. You're more than that. Yeah. And so I just wanted to say that. Sorry, I had to jump in and let you guys know.
This is us, Danny. This is our interview. We got the cast of the creators of the Beloved. I am feeling such love tonight. And you know, Mark, you mentioned it, but you didn't tell them. I was looking to find the earring, but I didn't find the right Adinkra symbol. But I did. You know what? I am incorrect. I did not find the Adinkra symbol that you used, but the one I found in my earrings is God.
Yes, it is.
So, I was like, yeah, I had to go. Listen, I had to go. I said, I couldn't get the Beloved shirt, but I gotta find something that represented what you were doing. So you used one of the Adinkra symbols in this. Which one was it and why?
Nagagiri is the symbol of togetherness and
faith.
And faith that holds it together. And so I just knew that that's a connection to all of us, right? And people use it subtly in a lot of clothing. But I wanted us to expand upon it a little bit more, right? And having words within that symbol. Because as a lot of us, as consumers, we buy into a lot of brands and buy into these symbols and don't know what the hell these emblems represent, right?
True.
And does it really represent you? So as a creator, I want to create symbols that's going to be timeless, poignant, and effective. So if I can make a symbol or find a symbol that connects to us as a community and use that as a skill of love, I'm going to do my part. So when I see somebody not wearing that, I know that they're loved, right?
Yeah.
So that's the goal behind creating things, man. Because if we don't want to speak it, but we can definitely wear it.
We can live it, and we see. I love you. I got one more question for you. Well, I got lots more questions for you. We ain't done yet. I hope you get your water. So you chose Family Day and Black History Month to release this. Why?
I just knew that the frequency of consciousness is on a new height. It's heightened, right? So based on the summertime with George Floyd, the demonstrations that's been happening in the city around the world, technically that summertime was Black History Month for us because we're just amplified in so many different ways that we were talked about, and opportunities of institutions were allowing the conversations to happen for us to be a part of that conversation. So I knew that coming to February would be another heightening of awareness. But the question for me, I challenged the community, whoever's listening, do you keep that light on? Are you planning on putting a black square on Instagram and saying I'm Black, and then you're back to doing selfies or something else around the way? Like, you have to stay consistent to this story because it's our story. So I really want to be that person that becomes that trainer. And my analogy to this is like going to the gym. On Christmas Day, you take an oath that I want to go to the gym and work out. But this work out for consciousness. Like, stay in the gym, build that muscle in that brain, learn more about you. You know what I mean? Expand upon it. Find your allies, your trainer, to keep you motivated so you can stay on that course, because a lot of people drop off. They're in it now, and then they come back to the dancing, whatever that is. So I'm just a living example that I stay on course. I never waver who I was. And I may not get praises that people may want to see me as, but I'm just the one people can't say is that Mark has been consistent with his brand. He speaks his truth. He never wavered that. Every day his post, his Thursday's post, whatever I do to get to the community, I stay true to that. So if I can be a blueprint to that, somebody can emulate that in some degree themselves that same way, it just makes that community even stronger, right? Because I'm not, there's nothing magical that I'm doing. I'm just being passionate. So somebody needs to find their purpose, right? And I'm living my mark as my name, and my last name is Art. So it's through art that I'm actually doing what I do. So I just figure those things along the way in my life.
He's dropping it. He's dropping it.
You got me going. You got me going. But it's just, I'm just happy just to be in a place that I can actually express that clearly. I've never been that person that's always quiet. Like Nigel, man, like just having the three of us here, just bouncing each other out with our conversation, and it just makes the day even more memorable because everybody has a point to say. And I don't always want to be that guy who always wants to talk. I'm not that guy. I'm a person that's in the trenches. Let's get the work done. There's too many talkers. Too many. I was gonna cuss, but I won't cuss. But it's just like we just need to do more things out there to make that change happen. So through this video, motivates more people to do something. I can have a country because there wasn't no Toronto Foundation funds that came to this, or we applied for grants. This is all sweat equity. We put our time, our money in this. Right? So don't keep relying on grants to get to do these concepts. If you don't get it, just make it regardless. I'm just going on this rant.
No, that's not a rant. That's good.
I was gonna say that it's just from it's a triple entendre to me, meaning that there's three things that happened this month, and me and Mark talked about it, which was Black History Month, Family Day, and Valentine's Day. And
Toni Morrison's birthday was last
and Toni Morrison's birthday.
Yeah.
Wow.
And three things we wanted to do was, and that's I was going to speak on the 365 is to love 365, not just on Valentine's Day, to be Black 365, just not on Black History Month. And the third one is we are Black families every day, not just on Family Day. Right. So we get these 3 days in the shortest month of the year. And we're saying to ourselves, nah, that's not how we're going to end this. We're going to do this 365. And if we got to propel the community forward to start with this video, that's what we did. And Mark, brilliantly enough, was able to put all those three in one video. Love, Blackness, and family in one, which was orchestrated. That was intentional. And it's always been from the beginning of this movement saying, it will not die. We can't just do this video. He was like, I'm not just doing this video just to put a video out. How are we going to let it live? So we had conversations on how is this going to exist beyond the video. So I think that we're off to a good start. And I think that's one thing we want to leave behind is let's have more stamina in how we look at our consciousness towards ourselves into this experience that we're trying to create on this planet. So I just wanted to chime in on that. Yeah, for sure. Celebrating Black 365.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. No,
I'm just repeating what you guys are saying. Sorry, Danny. Sorry.
No, that's great. That's great. and Rudy, what do you see? What do you see as next for this movement?
You know, I wish that it does the natural thing of seeping into our consciousness and replacing the negative things that we have there. You know, I look forward to the day that somebody actually, picks up the shirt and goes, like, the day that you wake up and you're not really sure how you're feeling and you see the shirt and you're like, you know what? I am beloved. I'm going to wear this shirt to exude this confidence, to exude this togetherness because, this is how I want to, get through today. It's in changing the daily habits and it's integrating the things that we love actively into the daily habits, and that's what I want to see happen 365 past February, and also celebrating Black history and understanding our own heritage. I was very happy with the fact that somebody was so curious to learn, the Adinkra symbol, Nyajidie in there. I'm from Ghana, so obviously I'm like, yes, finally, somebody's about, I hope that you get to learn.
That was me. That was me, Rudy. That was me. That was me.
Okay. Yeah. So, thank you for being curious about that. It means a lot to me.
Listen, Rudy. We're going to talk after this. My sister's married to a Ghanaian. You want some? Come over. We're going to talk. You'll meet my brother-in-law. Come on now.
So Mark, what's next for the movement?
Legacy. I think the goal for me is tying in the right stories, the untold stories, and just build on that. I would love to see the site grow in a way that when people want to be inspired, they can come to the site and see stories of community, people doing great things, and through all the sources of artistic sounds, right? And just trying to maintain that. I think there's not a space that kind of allows us a place to be informed with information when it comes to our community, right? So if I can kind of maintain that and build off of that, and I don't know, get more people involved and find people who want to contribute to this, then I'm welcome to that. I think that's the whole thing. Like we formed Voltron right now, but at the same time, building what we did together, we need more people involved, and we need allies as well. So whoever wants to jump on this, the train is here, man. The train is here. The beloved train.
The beloved train is here. The beloved train is here. I love that, man. It's amazing. It's amazing. Nicole, did you ask something else you wanted to ask? Or?
Yeah. Oh, I do. I'm just trying. Okay, when I think about the love, I think about what has been said in the conversation. To each of you, what would you say to your younger self? You could pick 10 years before. You can pick 20 years ago. I mean, we're all like 30, right? So it's okay. So, what would you say to your younger self, especially when you look at yourself now, looking at history, coming from an enslaved history of people, and then looking at love and looking at yourself as men, and not always being able to embrace love. So you can take it from any angle you like. I'll start with Nigel.
Oh, wow.
That's a good question.
Janelle's card goes like 30. Look at yourself. Well, Janelle, I don't know how old they are. They could be still 30, so we can't go there yet.
First, I would say find different ways to reinvent yourself. Continue to explore the limitations of your self-concept, which will then, in fact, change the way you look at your self-esteem. Don't look at limitations. I would say don't put limitations in your vocabulary.
That's good.
I think that's the biggest thing, because when I think about 20 years to now, and I'm telling my younger self how to get to a place where they felt more confident and abundant in how they love themselves, I think it's that constant search and reach for truth, reach for things beyond the self-sabotage, the negative conversations you've been hearing surrounding your identity, yourself, and continue to inform yourself by expanding through knowledge, putting yourself in other areas and traveling to other spaces. It allows you to broaden your scope of who you are. Because I think when it comes down to it, even with Beloved, it's about how do we change our lens? How do we look at our self-concept differently so we can be full with our self-esteem? And that just came from constantly opening up myself beyond limited beliefs and thoughts. And trying to live with less labels and more openness to information. Because I think we say, even the idea of saying you're black, can expand to melanated. Melanated can be African diaspora, and that can take you beyond the limited understanding of what you have. So I'm just constantly just informing yourself and improving, evolving, changing. I think that's what I would say in this long-winded.
That's good. That's good.
Like, I'm just sorry for the people who didn't get a piece of paper and write this down. You guys are just going to have to go back to the replay and listen to some wisdom keys being dropped by these men here today. Nigel, that was supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, my brother. My brother, that was dope. So Rudy, what would you say to you just look like the baby in the family, but I'm not going to say, we age so well. Like, I'm not going to be like Mark. Like, I'm 52. I don't care. I have half a century. I'm past half a century, so I could say whatever I want. So I like embracing over 50. I just hide the gray. Mark wears it well. He has this nice little gray beard thing happening. He looking.
I can't wait until I actually have something to show. I have wisdom.
No, you got wisdom, brother. You got it.
Exactly, brother.
So, Rudy, what would you say to your younger self?
Hmm. They say that the imagined savior is easier to paint.
Mm.
So I think that I would tell my younger self to learn to be more curious and not judgmental,
Mm.
and just allow things to get by. Like, just learn to let go, to face the blank canvas again, in a sense, and not to try to learn skills and think that I know everything while I'm still young. I think young people have this hubris about them where they are creative, but they think that they already know everything, and they don't learn to seek from history or um, their older selves, or even their coaches sometimes. So I think I'll tell my young self to just be patient because the road is very long and we're just
Mm,
getting started.
that's good. I like that, brother. I like
Yeah.
that.
And Mark?
Wow, it's hard to with these two hitting it off. Now I have to think of something else. Um, what I would tell my younger self.
Embrace love.
Be love.
Let us love on you. I think he's frozen.
Oh, he froze?
He actually is
Yeah.
frozen. He's
Yeah.
lucky he's frozen for a moment.
Right.
We're gonna let him unfreeze a bit.
I thought he did that fake
I
froze.
know.
Yeah.
What
That was
happened
pretty
was,
slick. He's like, hold on.
I'm thinking. It's so cool. But while we wait for Mark to come back,
So, no,
Rudy,
while we
what
wait
would
for
you,
Mark to come back, what would you say to your younger self, Nicole?
Danny? What happened was, what you better
Yeah, he
text.
said. He
He
said.
Yeah.
got frozen. He got
Yeah,
cut out. So
Yeah.
what would I say to my younger self? Um, be compassionate to yourself. Show yourself some self compassion. Um, I would say get yourself some mentors
Mhm.
at an earlier age.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would say to my younger self, um, I
I
would
am
say to
back.
my younger, you're back, don't worry. And Danny, you make Danny put me in the hot seat. You're going to pay for this, but that's okay. I would say to my younger self that you are enough.
Come
Mhm.
on now.
You are
Mhm.
enough. And to really don't let anyone steal your joy and don't let anyone steal your peace.
Mhm.
Let your peace be the most important thing and treasure it.
Mhm.
See your value and learn your identity early so no one can steal it from you.
Mhm.
That's some of what I would say to my younger self. Are you writing this down, Coach Stone?
I got making notes here. Like, yeah, of course.
I know you're coming back with me with something. Anyway, so Mark, you had a chance to breathe while Danny put me in the hot seat. Mark, you're gonna owe me a T-shirt for this one. Um, what would you say to your younger self? It could even be the younger self of 2020, 2020.
Oh
You don't
yeah.
have to go too far.
No. Just persevere.
Mm,
It's gonna be challenges in life that people are gonna doubt you. People are not gonna put you as the top dog in whatever that is. But you gotta persevere and just stay in your truth, right? A lot of
Mhm.
people are not gonna be in this path that we're on when it comes to consciousness, man. It's not for everybody. It's only for a few. Our world
Staying
is
mature.
kind of it's so divided in a way that people just want to live a comfortable life and not ruffle the feathers, right?
Mhm.
So we're about change. We're making things uncomfortable for people to start seeing truly see themselves. So I would tell my younger self to persevere, be patient, because if you want that change to happen, it's going to take a long. I've been doing this for quite some time with a level of consciousness, right? So being an activist is everyone has their way of doing. There's some loud people, there's some out vocal people, and there's some people behind the scenes that just do some great things and don't looking for the praise, but they're there, right? You just gotta
Mhm.
find your lane and stick it out. And this game of life has its ups and downs, man. But you just gotta persevere. The one of my favorite quotes I will say, tell me the facts and I will learn. Tell me truth and I believe, but you tell me a story, it'll live in my heart forever. So hopefully what we're doing today with this beloved story is hopefully it'll live and resonate in people's lives so they know they're gonna make some change. So that's my goal, right? Changing lives through story.
Wow.
See, he was going into that next question there because I was going to ask you guys, do you have like a favorite quote or motto that resonates with you? Coach Stone, we start with you.
A couple. I mean, I end a lot of my posts and speeches and stuff with there's something special about you. Find out what it is and live it out loud. And I say that as a reminder of someone who grew up with a lot of people who are just very negative and trying to chop me down and hold me back. I never knew that. And even, it wasn't until I had mentors and people who poured into me that started to open that gateway for me. And so, yeah, we all have something special about us. We all have to explore it, be brave enough to find out what it is, and then to live it out loud, to actually share that gift, that talent, whatever that is, with the world. And so that's just something that I like to say.
That's powerful. Mr. Nigel,
Mm.
the wordsmith.
Oh yeah, fully.
Deep, call it onto deep. The deep one calling you right now, Bridget.
I would say not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. And that echoes what Mark was saying. That's James Baldwin. Love myself some James Baldwin, boy. It's what he was talking about is you can't be liberated until you come face to face with the realities of truth and then finding freedom in that. You can't avoid it because liberation is through the storm, right? So you got to face it head on. You have to be upfront with that. And yeah, quite a few, but I like that one from James Baldwin.
That's a good one. I like that.
I hearing somebody flipping pages.
That's Rudy. Rudy.
That's probably me.
Rudy about to drop a novel. Yo, Rudy dropping a book right here. By the time this broadcast is over, Rudy's gonna have a book on Amazon before this thing's over. I love it, my man. I love it.
He said that's what we do today.
I'm sorry?
We're just teasing you, Rudy. Sorry. Okay.
No, I love it. Like I am somebody who writes codes like pretty much every morning, almost as a stoic practice. So like, it's hard for me to find a quote that really holds it together for me today. But this is one that has been resonating with me of late. It's Khalil Gibran's quote. It says, "In the dew of little things, the heart finds its morning, and it's refreshed."
Ooh.
Like
now you're gonna have to make me go in my library and bring out my Khalil Gibran now. Like, come on now.
I like that one. In the dew of morning. Okay.
Dew of morning.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Little things. Yeah, absolutely.
Just little things.
Just make the bed, man.
Right.
Do the small thing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like
Man.
those little things.
Yeah.
And that's how you really. I think it's been eaten at me because I related to Mark when he said, he can't really tell if he's healed yet. I'm there with him when I feel like I've missed JV, and I know so much of the community has missed them. I've missed, I've been so broken up about Regis Coxswain's Parquet, learning about the Breonna Taylor story, learning about George Floyd, and being black in America, and trying to understand identity politics during a pandemic. It's quite a lot to unpack, and really we find the peace and we find the healing moments in just reverting to the little things. So I'm learning to embrace that more and
You
just
guys are
be
just
practical with it.
learning to embrace the little things. I love it. Mark, you were going to say something. I could see something
Yeah,
was.
I just want to end because today this the affirmation I'm getting from all this is staying the course on what you believe in, right? And one of my other quotes, what I love is the best place you can find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others,
Mm,
right?
Mm. Yeah.
So, and that's Mother Teresa, and my joy is just being that vessel of service, right? And I see how I impact people's lives and how to react from that. So today is warming for me to know that what I was able to create, but not just for myself, but share that with other people to be a part of this journey with me. It's overwhelming, but I'm grateful, right?
Mm.
Because you don't get these opportunities, and just to be acknowledged at the same time, it's still trying to get used to. But I'm appreciative of it. But like I said, there's more work that needs to be done. This
Mhm.
is nice that we be acknowledged, but there's 10 times stuff that needs to change, right?
but you know
But
what? Each of us as a body has a piece to do, and if each of us take the piece that we have to do, we will heal. So we just have to take responsibility for ourselves. A glass can only become full, an ocean can only become full, a river can only become full with one drop at a time, with one drop from the rain, one drop from heaven. And sometimes we get so caught in the fact of what still has to be done, we don't live in the moment. And if we don't live in the now, we miss the beauty of the now of what God is giving us.
Mm.
So, I really am so appreciative of all of you coming on here. There is such a feeling of love, and I know it's being emanated through what I'm seeing with the likes and the hearts and the comments, and people are engaged. And I pray that people will watch this, on the replay and share it with their friends, because I'd love to have each and every one of the creators. We can do this again and bring everybody. If you can get everybody together, I don't care where they are. I think this conversation for you guys just need to share, because you're so rich in what you share, right, Danny? You're so
Absolutely.
rich in what you guys have shared tonight that I know I am full. One of the things that, on Clubhouse, there's one of the rooms that we formed a group of women, and we came together, and none of us knew each other. But when we're done with our conversation, we say, I am complete. Yeah.
Mm.
And tonight, I feel complete. I'm still trying not to cry because this is just like really, really filling for me. And so, to each of you, including my amazing co-host Danny, I couldn't do this without you. The way that this has flowed. What
Appreciate you,
would you
sister.
like to say to people, um, to leave folks with? What's that thought, that thing, whatever it is, that comes to mind, that you would? What message do you want to give to anyone listening to live and on the replay tonight? And I know we've shared quotes, um, and I'll give you time to think. One of the quotes I have here is from actually somebody I think I listened to on Clubhouse, and he said, "You are all too big to dream small. We are all too big to dream small."
Mm.
And when he said that, it reminded me that, for those of us believe in a higher being and a creator, that we can't outdream God. How could you dream the one that created all? Like, if the ocean can stay where it is and not come to the shore and stay right there, that is love,
Mm.
you know, because it could swallow us up. I listened to Cicely Tyson being interviewed by Oprah the other day, and Oprah asked her what was love, and she says, I can't answer that. It's too big a question. And she ended by saying, if God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. That's love. She, in her own self, in her last interview just a few weeks ago, could not fully even say the vastness of what love is, because love is
Wow.
too big, love is so deep, and love shows up like this. Tonight, love showed up in you
Beautiful.
guys. So what would be your message? Anybody can go. Nigel, if you want to write a poem right here one time, that'd be nice of Nigel. There's this poem that you do for Black women. But anyways, if you feel like reciting something, Rudy, if you feel like pulling out the trumpet, I don't have any problem. Mark,
We'll let our guest go first. I have something, but I'll let you guys go ahead.
Nobody jump in too slow.
I'll go.
Yeah.
The message I would give to anybody who's watching right now is that you are more than. You're more than the mistakes. You're more than the failures. You're more than other people's opinions. You're more than what society tries to tell you that you are. You're more than all of that. You're more than enough. And Nicole said it earlier. A lot of our sort of feeling of displacement or feeling of not being loved or feeling of not being good enough, it all stems from us we're not feeling like we're enough, right? All of the sadness, all of the trials and tribulations and us not being where we want to be in life. A lot of it just comes from us feeling like we're not worthy, like we're not enough. And so we all have to understand we're more than. You're more than any mistake that you've ever made. You're more than any failure you've ever had. You're more than what somebody else has to say about you. And the fact that all of us are here right now, we all have a voice, right? And you don't know who's watching. This is what I tell people. We all have people that are secretly watching us. And sometimes they'll never say anything to you. But the fact that you just showed up, the fact that you got up, the fact that you put yourself out there, you don't know what that means to somebody else. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I would say. You're more than that. You're more than enough.
I love that. Who wants to go next? I'm going to be like the radio host. Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Okay, Mark.
Yes.
No. Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. Rudy, rock, paper. Did we just do rock, paper, scissors? Did we really?
We did. No, Mark, you go last. You go last.
All right, I'll go last.
I'll say surrender to infinite possibilities or unlimited possibilities. And what I mean by that is anything is possible. So don't let anybody tell you that you can't do something. They just haven't found a way to do it. So when you surrender to the idea, which is love, you're surrendering to love, and you're not allowing fear to tell you that you can't do something. You continue to surrender to the infinite possibilities. You surrender to the idea that you cannot do something because you can. And once you embrace that I can, I am attitude, anything is possible. So I'll just leave it with that.
That's awesome. Nice. Thank you, brother.
Ashe.
Nice.
All right.
Rumi says, what matters the most is how quickly you do what your soul directs.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, what's that really, bro?
I think it's about staying prepared in that manner and seeing that within us lies a dormant artist, and we need to train that part of ourselves, not just physically but spiritually as well, and attune to that frequency of consciousness.
Oh, that's great, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Mark, it's you.
I know. Wow. Bros, you guys stepped this bar up so much. I'll take it from my mentor. And he always says this, Dr. John Carlos. And what he always says when he writes his books or he signs it, we live to make history, right? So I always feel that this moment right now, we just made history. That we're changing lives. And so I'll just say to any in the audience that every day is a day of making history. You just gotta believe in yourself and move forward in that. Step in your purpose, live your legacy. So yeah, we live to make history. This is Black History Month. Let's do this.
Wow.
You made history, my brother. So if anybody wants to find out how they can get involved, if they want to get, I know you have some shirts and stuff. Tell us more about that before we head out of here.
Yes, if you go to beloved68.com, you can definitely know more about what the collection, not the collection, but the collective is all about. And stuff that we may have forgotten, definitely the site will give you some intel of that. Within there is merch. that we're selling. One of the designs that I have is Black Families Matters. All that 100% of the proceeds is going to three organizations that I support, which is Louis March, Zero Gun Violence, Rise Entertainment, and also with ITA with the different book lists. So I'm trying to find ways to just try to get back to the community. So I'm thinking with that shirt, when anybody purchases that shirt, I'm putting money towards those three organizations. I'm just doing my part. So hopefully everybody will do the same thing and check out our website and support. If you believe in what we're saying tonight, I definitely will see some responses of sales underneath my stream. But if not, then I realize that maybe we didn't impact people. That's the pressure for the people out there.
I
So
like
it would
it.
be good if you can, Mark, what would be really helpful for Danny and myself is if you send us like an image of the shirt and tell us what it's about, and then we can put that out on our social media. Let's tag each other because, people, it's one thing is about the website, but if we can start putting it out on social media, tagging
Agreed.
it with the video and stuff like that, we can share it. We can just, today, this is what we're doing as we end Black History Month, as we go into the rest of 365. This is what we wanted to do. I attend the Cultural Center, Louis March. We're talking about all sorts of great people doing great stuff. And yeah, just, put your money where your mouth is.
I, I,
Danny,
I like I like the idea, not to cut, but I always feel I don't want to inundate or overwhelm people. I rather people be like going down that rabbit hole and finding information they can need and be inspired. So that's just my opinion. I feel that when people come and they see it, it serves its point. But I hear what you're saying. It doesn't hurt to support it and share
the
it.
thing
I'd
is,
rather share the video.
yeah, I hear what you're saying. So they will organically come to you, but we got to give them the image because we gotta give them, because so many people are going onto Instagram to find their stuff, you know, and not everybody's going onto websites. We just got to give them the option. We got to give them the option, and
I
then
know.
if they choose to. So we got you. Don't worry, we will do the work. You just got to give us the stuff. We
Yeah.
got
Okay,
you.
okay, okay.
We got you, Mr. Danny. Any last words before we head out and I close out the show?
I just want to thank you, first of all. I mean, you did an amazing job tonight. This is a really amazing production you put together. And thank you for having me on here and co-hosting with you. And I want to thank these three amazing brothers. Thank you guys for taking time out of your evening to come here and to share love and to share some real words of inspiration. So I think when people watch this replay, they're going to feel your words. They're not just going to hear them. So thank you guys for all being here.
Yeah, but next time prepare us to bring tissues because I wasn't expecting. It's not a part of the policy here. It wasn't signed up for that, man. No,
But
it's not right. It's not right though. It's not right.
Mark, you said something about people will organically do some things and follow. Well, you see, the problem is that means you've never watched the Victory Speak show because you would know if you tune into the Victory Speak show, it is necessary to
People.
have participants. I'm
Nah,
sorry. It's don't feel too bad. No matter where, it's just part of
Amazing.
it's just part of the core. I'm sorry. I apologize,
That's
but I
so
thank
yeah.
you all for coming onto the show. Wendy Jones just put a beautiful comment up here. I'm leaving you all one quote. You represent, after listening to you all, when you take a look in the mirror, what do you see? An irreplaceable image of God in you.
Mm.
Mm.
My brothers, I am so happy that you are here tonight. Thank you for tuning in. To everybody on live and on the replay, I thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Danny Stone, for being my co host tonight. I invite you to follow me on Twitter and on Instagram, Victory Speaks 7. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's Victory Speaks 7 as well. Now, you're going to hear a little bit of JV in the background playing the good part. You can
Oh, you
listen.
playing that?
I'm playing that for you. You can listen to the interview here on Facebook. Victory Speaks 77 is going to be on the YouTube channel. Now, for those of you who don't know, I do have an audio podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, anywhere you can listen to your podcast. It's where I speak and share about the victory formula. It's a guide to living a victorious lifestyle. If you are on Clubhouse, follow me on Victory Speaks. I'm going to be there on Thursday with Black content creators. We're going to be talking about Black creators. So join us for that conversation. Oh, and Wednesday night, there is going to be a special. I'm going to be having the awesome, the phenomenal, Jean Augustine is going to be on the show. And we're going to be speaking about her special project, 25K in 25 days. And so I encourage you all to be intentional and have an inspired conversation today with someone you love or with someone you meet. It can even start with a smile. It can just start with you being able to stop, listen, and hear what they have to say. when you just say, "How are you?" We need to take back our conversations and make sure that they are inspiring and meaningful. Your conversations can be inspired by your truth, your love, and your story. We need to be called to higher, more meaningful conversations, not just with who we are and who we know, but those we meet along the way. And I hope you've been inspired by our conversation tonight. This is Victory Speaks, the voice of victory, your mental fitness coach. And I've been talking with the creators of the beloved. Oh my God. Yes. And this is the good part. We are going into the good part of our lives. This year is by JV the GOAT. Jordan, we love you. We miss you. And for those of you live and on the replay, go back and watch the video of the beloved. Thank you. Peace, love,
Peace.
and have a great way. It's a victorious day and have a victorious week.
Wonderful.
My boys can sing. You guys can sing. Good part. You did it, Mark.
No, we did it.
You did it.
Amazing.
Live? We still live?
Oh yeah, we still live because
So-
we're going up to JV.